wish you a pleasant journey and every success in your future in Canada. They told me as I crossed the border between the United States of America and Canada. For those of you who are Canadian or strictly speaking not immigrants, let me show you how becoming a PR feels like. As you can imagine at this point, though, becoming a PR doesn't happen without a few tries, and it's actually a long process. So let me also show you how the process of becoming a PR felt like. In this case, as you can see, I'm wearing this t-shirt as proof that this is actually me. And this is not Photoshop. And they actually just shut down the fountain behind me, and I couldn't look like a wizard anymore. PR doesn't stand for public relations, doesn't stand for press release. PR stands for permanent resident, and it's a permanent, meaning permanent resident of Canada. And it can be quite a long and daunting process. And it's a way for the Canadian government to allow you to stay in Canada without the need of a working visa. You become one of them Canadians, even though probably right now I should say one of us, half us. For those of you who don't know me, I did my icebreaker about a year ago, as Tammy said, and I'll just give you a little bit of background so that you can understand what's coming afterwards. My name is Sergio. I'm 26 actually. Today I'm turning 26, so happy birthday to me. And I am an Italian software engineer. I moved here about exactly 2 years ago. And I've been living in Italy most of my life, 23 years of my life. Just before coming here, I spent 6 months in Australia. That's basically all you need to know, all you know about me. I showed you how the process felt like. I show you how I felt the moment I became a permanent resident of Canada. I'll just give you a little bit of insight on the actual technical process of becoming one. It's, as I just said, it's a process that can take up to 18 months, but the actual becoming a permanent resident, it's straightforward. You got some paperwork, you cross the border, you come back to Canada, and you are a permanent resident of Canada. You don't need a working visa anymore. It was a very important moment of my life. And as such, you can cross the border between Canada and US, either from Victoria to Port Angeles and back, or you can go to Vancouver and cross to Point Roberts. For those of you who don't know what the town of Point Roberts is, it's basically they cut down the 49 parallel and forgot that there was a land in the middle. So technically it's US, but it's attached to Canada. And most of people do this trick, which is called flagpoling. Once I get my paperwork, I finally get to Vancouver. And the situation is quite confusing, especially for somebody who has never been there. This is not my picture, I got it from the internet. Right outside on the right of this picture, there is a sign for people crossing on foot, which I was doing. I was crossing on foot, saying, on the left. I look in front of me, and as you can see, there are two lines. One on the right for the Nexus card holders, and one on the left for all the others. Since I clearly am not an holder of a Nexus card, I just am behind a car in the middle of the street. So let me say this slowly. I was at the border, in the middle of the street, behind the car, on foot. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. What do you think you're doing? A US officer 50 feet across from me is screaming at me. I look around me. I say, yes, sir. What do you think you're doing? He reiterates. I'm feeling a little bit stupid at this point, and I still am looking around me because I don't know what I am doing. And I'm also scared because you don't want your future of becoming a permanent resident in the hand of an angry officer, right? He says, if you go back a few steps, you'll find the path that will introduce you to the sidewalk. You will find a stop sign where another officer will actually welcome you. So I'm not scared. I also don't know what I'm doing. I go back and I finally found the path to the sidewalk. I wait and an officer welcomes me. It's way more friendly because I'm not sure if you know him, but there are samples. Lieutenant Garcia from Zorro. I go into the office and I hand him the passport, and with a very thick Spanish accent, he said, Sergio, please have a seat. I'll be right back. I have a seat. He calls me back. I go through a lot of rooms. I speak with, I'd say, 5 officers. I answer a lot of questions, a lot of them. And boom, I find myself shaking the hand of a Canadian officer that tells me and congratulates me on becoming a permanent resident of Canada. And while I'm still shaking his hand, I say, "Excuse me, can you please tell me when I can find the restaurant?" Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio, for enlightening us on your trip to becoming a permanent resident of Canada. Happy birthday, and
Thank you.
please just take 1 minute to give Sergio some feedback on his